Good afternoon, fourth graders. Today we are going to be reading chapter 11 of Matilda, and this chapter is called The Weekly Test. So let's get started. At 2 o'clock sharp, the class assembled, including Miss Honey, who noted that the jug of water and the glass were in the proper place. Then she took up a position standing right at the back. Everyone waited. Suddenly in marched the gigantic figure of the headmistress in her belted smock and green breeches. "Good afternoon, children," she barked. "Good afternoon, Miss Trenchbull," they chirped. The headmistress stood before the class, legs apart, hands on hips, glaring at the small boys and girls who sat nervously at their desks in front of her. "Not a very pretty sight," she said. Her expression was one of utter distaste, as though she were looking at something a dog had done in the middle of the floor. "What a bunch of nauseating little warts you are." Everyone had the sense to stay silent. "It makes me vomit," she went on, "to think that I am going to have to put up with a load of garbage like you in my school for the next 6 years. I can see that I'm going to have to expel as many of you as possible as soon as possible to save myself from going round the bend." She paused, snorted several times. It was a curious noise. You can hear the same sort of thing if you walk through a riding stable when the horses are being fed. "I suppose," she went on, "your mothers and fathers tell you you're wonderful. Well, I am here to tell you you are opposite, and you better believe me. Stand up, everybody." They all got quickly to their feet. "Now put your hands out in front of you, and as I walk past, I want you to turn them over so I can see if they are clean on both sides." The Trunchbull began a slow march along the rows of desks inspecting the hands, and went well until she came to a small boy in the second row. "What's your name?" she barked. "Nigel," the boy said. "Nigel what?" "Nigel Hicks," the boy said. "Nigel Hicks what?" the Trunchbull bellowed. She bellowed so loud she nearly blew the little chap out of the window. "That's it," Nigel said, "unless you want my middle name as well." He was a brave little fellow, and one could see that he was trying not to be scared by the Gordon who towered above him. "I do not want your middle names, you blister," the Gordon bellowed. "What is my name?" "Miss Trenchbull," Nigel said. "Then use it when you address me. Now then, let's try again. What is your name?" "Nigel Hicks, Miss Trenchbull." "Trenchbull," Nigel said. "That's better," the Trenchbull said. "Your hands are filthy, Nigel. When did you last wash them?" "Well, let me think," Nigel said. So here's a picture of her talking to Nigel. Oh, Mrs. Grippy's really struggling here. That's rather difficult to remember exactly. It could have been yesterday or it could have been the day before. The Trenchbull's whole body and face seemed to swell up, though she was being inflated by a bicycle pump. "I knew it," she bellowed. "I knew as soon as I saw you that you were nothing but a piece of filth. What is your father's job, a sewage worker?" "He's a doctor," Nigel said, "and a jolly good one. He says we're all so covered with bugs anywhere that a little bit of extra dirt never hurt anyone." "I'm glad he's not my doctor," the Trenchbull said. "And why, might I ask, is there a baked bean on the front of your shirt?" "We had them for lunch, Miss Trenchbull." "And do you usually put your lunch on the front of your shirt, Nigel? Is that what this famous doctor father of yours has taught you to do?" "Baked beans are hard to eat, Miss Trenchbull. They kept falling off my fork." "You are disgusting," the Trenchbull bellowed. "You are a walking germ factory. I don't wish to see any more of you today. Go and stand in the corner on one leg with your face to the wall." "But, Miss Trenchbull—" "Don't argue with me, boy, or I'll make you stand on your head. Now do as you're told." Nigel went. "Now stay where you are, boy, while I test you on your spelling to see if you've learnt anything all this past week. And don't turn around when you talk to me. Keep your nasty little face to the wall. Now then, spell right." "Which one?" Nigel asked. "The thing you do with a pen or the one that means the opposite of wrong?" He happened to be an unusually bright child, and his mother had worked hard with him at home on spelling and reading. "The one with the pen, you little fool." Nigel spelt it correctly, which surprised the Trenchbull. She thought she had given him a very tricky word, one that he wouldn't yet have learned, and was peeved that he had succeeded. That means mad. Then Nigel said, still balancing on one leg and facing the wall, "Miss Honey taught us how to spell a new very long word yesterday." "And what word was that?" the Trenchbull asked softly. The softer her voice became, the greater the danger, but Nigel wasn't to know this. Difficulty, Nigel said. Everyone in the class can spell difficulty now. What nonsense, the Trunchbull said. You are not supposed to learn long words like that until you are at least 8 or 9, and don't try to tell me everybody in the class can spell that word. You are lying to me, Nigel. Test someone, Nigel said, taking an awful chance. Test anyone you like. The Trunchbull's dangerous, glittery eyes roved around the classroom. You, she said, pointing at a tiny and rather draught little girl called Prudence. Spell difficulty. Amazingly, Prudence spelled it correctly and without a moment's hesitation. The Trunchbull was properly taken aback. She snorted. And I suppose Miss Honey wasted the whole on one lesson teaching you to spell the one single word. Oh, no, she didn't, piped Nigel. Miss Honey taught it to us in 3 minutes, so we'll never forget it. She teaches us lots of words in 3 minutes. And what exactly is this magic method, Miss Honey? Asked the headmistress. I'll show you, piped up the brave Nigel again, coming to Miss Honey's rescue. Can I put my other foot down and turn around, please, while I show you? You may do neither, snapped the Trunchbull. Stay as you are and show me just the same. All right, said Nigel, wobbling crazily on his one leg. Miss Honey gives us a little song about each word, and we all sing it together, and we learn to spell it in no time. Would you like to hear the song about difficulty? I should be fascinated, the Trunchbull said in a voice dripping with sarcasm. Here it is, Nigel said. Mrs. D, Mrs. I, Mrs. F, F, I, Mrs. C, Mrs. U, Mrs. L, T, Y. That spells difficulty. How perfectly ridiculous, snorted the Trunchbull. Why are all these women married? And anyway, you're not meant to teach poetry when you're teaching spelling. Cut it out in future, Miss Honey. But it does teach them some of the harder words wonderfully well, Miss Honey murmured. Don't argue with me, Miss Honey, the headmistress thundered. Just do as you're told. I shall now test the class on the multiplication tables to see if Miss Honey has taught you anything at all in that direction. The Trunchbull had returned to her place in front of the classroom, and her gaze was now moving slowly along the rows of tiny pupils. Those are students. You, she barked, pointing at a small boy called Rupert in the front row. What is 2 sevens? 16, Rupert answered with foolish abandon. The Trunchbull started advancing slow and soft-footed upon Rupert in a manner of stalking a small deer. Rupert suddenly became aware of the danger signals and quickly tried again. It's 18, he cried. 2 sevens are 18, not 16. You ignorant little slug, the Trunchbull bellowed. You witless weed, you empty-headed hamster, you stupid glob of glue. She had now stationed herself directly behind Rupert, and suddenly she extended a hand the size of a tennis racket and grabbed all the hair on Rupert's head in her fist. Rupert had a lot of golden-colored hair. His mother thought it was beautiful to behold and took a delight in allowing it to grow extra long. The Trunchbull had a great dislike for long hair on boys, and she had for pigtails on girls, and she was about to show it. She took a firm grip on Rupert's long golden tresses with her giant hand, and then by raising her muscular right arm, she lifted the helpless boy clean out of his chair and held him. Rupert yelled. He twisted, he squirmed, he kicked the air and went on yelling like a stuffed pig. And Miss Trunchbull bellowed, 2 sevens are 14. 2 sevens are 14. I am not letting you go till you say it. From the back of the class, Miss Honey cried out, Miss Trunchbull, please let him down. You're hurting him. All of his hair might come out. And well it might if it doesn't stop wriggling, snorted the Trunchbull. Keep still, you squiggly worm. And that's where we'll stop for today. Join me tomorrow so we can finish this chapter to see what happens to our little boy that she is holding.